Yo. Here a little bit early. Who's in here? Who is in here, man? We gotta talk about it. I want to know what y'all thought. What y'all thought about Shakur Stevenson? What y'all thought about Shakur, man? That boy looks sharp. That's what I thought. Who's on here? Hell of a performance, man. Hell of a performance. I've been on the fight going the distance. I felt Jermell could have finished. It's just a bad stoppage. Okay, so we got somebody saying bad stoppage. Dreeland, that was a bad stoppage in my opinion. That's two saying it's a bad stoppage. After seeing that Oscar Valdez eat Shakur Stevenson, you sure about that? What makes you really think that? Tell me, elaborate a little bit more. Damn, Shakur put a beating on him. I'm glad they show respect in the end. You know what, man? That's one of the things I really appreciated. At the end, when I seen, all the teams get together, Jermell Herring, Terrence Crawford, both teams just that was dope to see. Because I didn't really like all the antics that Shakur was doing before the fight. I wasn't feeling that too much. I feel that Shakur Stevenson doesn't have to go that route. I feel like Shakur Stevenson is a classy kid. I've seen him behind the scenes, very soft-spoken, very classy. So I wasn't really digging all of that stuff he was doing. So when I seen him show him respect and everything, I was like, okay, that's dope. So I was very happy about that. Spaz said, nah, it wasn't a bad stoppage. You know what? If you want to be technical, it was a little soon. But at the same time, I agree with you, Spaz. It wasn't a bad stoppage because Herring wasn't showing anything to say, yo, I'm going to win this fight. He was fighting off pure heart. He was doing the best he can, but he wasn't doing anything that gave any signs of a chance for him to turn the fight around. So why take any unnecessary punishment? Great stoppage. Stevenson definitely made a statement. Christopher Flowers, A+ class. It was Punch Drunk said, beautiful clinic. Yo, Punch Drunk, get in here, my guy. Get in here, my guy. Come chop it up with me for a little bit. I don't know how long I'm staying on here, but definitely going to chop it up. They was already going to stop because of his eye. Yeah. Man, Jamal Herring definitely he showed a lot of heart. He showed a lot of heart, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got to tip your hat to him. But at the end of the day, it just looked like Shakur Stevenson was too fast, too sharp, too young. He looked strong. He just had all the advantages going into this fight. Good stoppage. Ain't no way Herring was going to win taking unnecessary damage. I agree. I 100% agree. Let's bring somebody in here. What's good, IG?
Hey, what's up, coach?
What's up, champ? Talk to me. What you thought about the fight?
Bro, that fight was crazy, bro.
You liked it? You enjoyed it?
Honestly, Jermell Herring didn't show any signs of being the champ for real. I felt like Shakur Stevenson had it the whole night.
Yeah. Shakur Stevenson just shows a different level. It seemed like he's just on a different level. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So what's next?
Sure, I feel like take whoever whoever's in his way, he should just challenge them.
Okay.
He shouldn't back down from nobody.
He's ready for anybody.
Ready for anybody.
That's what's up. All right, my boy. Thank you for pulling up in here.
Thank you, bro. Have a good one.
You already know. Let me answer this super chat real quick. $1 Trillion Dream. Shakur looked like Floyd. Reminded me of the first time I watched Kobe play, and I thought to myself, this guy looks like MJ. Valdez will vacate to 135. Well, let's see here. We're going to bring in the one and only Punch Drunk.
Coach Anthony, the world-renowned trainer, the best free agent right now. Who's gonna get you? Hey, yo, they look at Anthony Joshua looking for a trainer, my brother. Are you available?
Yes, I am. For Anthony Joshua, I'll make an exception.
Hey, yo, that was a beautiful clinic by Shakur Stevenson, hitting on all cylinders, the jab, combinations, going to the body work. Precision was beautiful. The reflex, the defense, every criteria that could get you to win, he did it all. And you know what? When the lights are brighter, he showed up. A lot of people wanted to question his power. He came with power. You saw his face. He cut him up. He bruised him up. He did everything right. ATL, Chocolate City. Ladies and gentlemen, Shakur Stevenson, probably a pound for pound, probably number 10, maybe an honorable mention. But yo, hey, yo, I was happy. I love the clinic that he displayed. What you feel, Coach? That's your type of fighter right there, Coach.
Nah, listen, besides all the antics that he did before the fight, with all the disrespecting of the belt, and I understand he had to sell the fight in his own way, and I understand that he was trying to hype things up and maybe get in his own head. A lot of guys do stuff like that. Personally, I love the performance. He looked really good. He showed that he could box. He showed that he could fight on the inside. He showed that he has good power. Shakur Stevenson's always impressed me. I had the opportunity to watch Shakur Stevenson spar in person against a really good boxer. I'm not going to say no names. And this particular boxer really couldn't even hit Shakur in the gym. And this guy is good. This guy sparred everybody and does very well. And when he sparred Shakur, he could barely hit Shakur, and Shakur was hitting him at will. And that's when I said, this kid's special. This kid's on a different level. You got good, and then you got that different level. And Shakur is on that different level. Now, the only thing is, I did see spots today that when Jermell Herring started to pressure Shakur Stevenson, you started to notice that he had some success. Now, I feel depending on who's the guy putting the pressure is when we're going to find out a little bit more about Shakur. I feel that Jermell Herring's not really the guy to show what can be done, but he did show that if you pressure Shakur, and if you put some pressure on, and if you're that type of fighter and you possess that kind of crack, which I don't know who that guy would be right now, we might have something there. You know what I'm saying? We might have a little bit of a hole in the game that maybe we can capitalize on. If I'm coaching somebody, I'm telling them to pressure Shakur Stevenson.
I could see that, but I just don't see anybody in 130 that's gonna execute that and be highly successful. Is Oscar Valdez gonna do it? Is it Miguel Berchelt? You already know what happened to Miguel Berchelt when he was pressing. If Oscar Valdez could do that, I believe that Shakur Stevenson could do that. Is Chris Colbert gonna do it in 130? Is Leo Santa Cruz gonna do it? I don't know. So I don't think in this division you're gonna see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Maybe in 135, if he moves up, maybe we'll see it. But in this division, how he looking? And remember, he's only 23 years old, so he's just elevated.
I said that about Shakur. I think I told you this on a personal conversation. He reminds me of Floyd Mayweather, not stylistically. I think they got two different styles. So I want to make sure people understand what I mean when I say that. But I've always said the laser focus, the sharpness, the class of level of boxing. You got guys that, they're really good professionals. And then you got those Harvard elite graduates, those Yale graduates. And, guys like Floyd Mayweather was a Harvard elite. If he was a boxer, he came out of Harvard. If Shakur Stevenson is right there, one of those top places, we talk Yale, Harvard. We're not talking about regular guys. I was having this other debate with another friend of mine where I said, today's boxers, there's not that many that I can say can compete on every era. But when you think of elite guys, immediately you see Shakur Stevenson fits the profile of a guy that can fight in any era, similar to a Canelo Alvarez that can fight in any era, a Tyson Fury, a Usyk. These guys stand out. These guys are different. These guys are the cream of the crop. And Shakur, to me, definitely has that potential. He's right there. He just has to stay hungry, keep doing it, and not get too big headed too soon. And he could be that guy. He could be the next, top guy.
I think he's ahead of his time in terms of intellect, in terms of the guys that comparing him to his age range. I think he's ahead. He's ahead in my opinion when in terms of intellect. He be coaching, he be training, I forgot who he trained that he be in the corner. So he's already a teacher already. I know younger fighters that are already looking up to him. Like I've asked Keyshawn Davis, who's your favorite fighter? He say Shakur Stevenson. Kid Austin, who's your favorite fighter? They say Shakur Stevenson. These guys are 19, 20, and your favorite fighter is Shakur Stevenson because they see something in Shakur Stevenson that is like, yo, it's probably something they haven't seen in a long time. They look up to a 23-year-old, and that's something to look at. These guys are looking up to Shakur Stevenson. He's doing a great job. He's did an awesome job. I think he was perfect. If you would have graded his performance, what would you have had it?
I give him an A. I think there's more that he can do in his career. I mean, in his performances. I really believe that there was still some things that he could have done in this fight that maybe he didn't do, but he definitely gets an A. He gets an A, a nice solid A.
Yeah, I think to be honest, I think he got an A+, man, because the opponent that he was facing, it was a live champion. Remember, Jermell Herring just came off a great win, a big win versus Carl Frampton. He retired Carl Frampton and stopped him. So Jermell Herring was coming with all the confidence in the world. Bomac knows Shakur Stevenson real well. So, of course, when they went to the gym and they was preparing for Shakur Stevenson, I feel like he was highly confident in the preparation. But he just came out. Shakur Stevenson was just a second or 2 seconds just ahead of him. The defense was up to par. The combination, the jab to the solo plex. When they in the clinches, he's touching the body. He was just doing everything right. He was just doing everything.
No. He looked very good tonight, man. Shakur looked very good. I think that Jermell Herring definitely was the perfect guy for him to display what he wanted to do. So we'll have to wait and see. 130 pounds right now at this point. I really don't think who can really deal with Shakur Stevenson. I guess 135 is going to have more of an idea. But I've been saying this all along. Shakur Stevenson is just a really top guy. Everything but his last performance that he had against the African kid, I've been highly impressed with him. The last performance, I don't know what happened that day, but we're all entitled to a not so great night. So, and even in that fight, he clearly won the fight. So it just shows you on a not so great night, he's still clearly winning. And sometimes those no-name guys are the guys that are dangerous and hurt you. So maybe he felt something in that ring that we didn't see, that he was like, I'm not losing tonight, so I'm going to play it super safe. So you got to give him kudos for that too. So in your opinion, what's next? Because you follow these guys much deeper than I do. What's next?
Oscar Valdez unification bout. Oscar Valdez, I think that's an easy fight to make. Oscar Valdez just fought a couple of weeks ago. They in line to fight. I think the Bob Arum will make that fight. If they go with the questions, the how you say it, the Mexican versus the black fighter, they feel like it always works. It's a perfect fight. They in line to fight, unification bout. I think I'm not gonna say it's a pay-per-view fight. I don't know yet if it can happen, but that's the next fight.
How do you see that fight going?
Shakur Stevenson beating Oscar Valdez on that one.
Okay, so somebody in here said that they felt that Shakur Stevenson eats him. You feel that Shakur Stevenson wins. How does he win?
I think he wins almost just the way we saw him. I think he's going to be just a second ahead of Oscar Valdez. I like Oscar Valdez movement as well, but Oscar Valdez does get touched up. He gets touched up. He loses rounds. And I saw the last fight with Oscar Valdez. He fought a boxer, that moves around. I forgot how to pronounce Constantino. I think it was I don't know how to pronounce his name, from Brazil. But if he was doing that to Oscar Valdez, then Shakur Stevenson going to have a field day with Oscar Valdez. A lot of people even felt that there was some kind of a robbery as well. So I think Shakur Stevenson is going to outbox him. I'm not going to say that it's going to be fully easy, but I just don't think that Oscar Valdez is going to possess. And he got the height as well, Shakur Stevenson, to
who did Oscar Valdez just fight recently?
The guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's Concepciones.
He just fought recently, right?
Yeah, they just fought recently. Yeah,
I saw that fight. I just can't remember all the details too.
And a lot of people felt like he was getting outboxed.
That's right. The fight, we thought he lost that fight.
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of people
from Brazil or whatever he was from.
Brazil, yeah. So a lot of people felt
I thought he lost that fight.
So imagine Shakur Stevenson.
But then again, I didn't score the fight with a pen and paper. I just kept glancing up. And every time I was looking, it seemed like he was losing the situations. I was like, damn, this dude from Brazil was actually pretty good.
Nah, in the end, he took his foot off the gas. He was playing around. He was playing around in the championship round, and he lost it. If he would have kept being serious, he would have won that fight. But
nice.
But he did took his foot off the gas. But then I'm saying,
who did you think won? Did you thought that?
No. At the end of the day, yeah, Oscar, but he was losing throughout the whole fight. He was losing.
You thought Concepcion or whatever. You thought he won?
Nah, I think Oscar. I said Concepcion, but I meant Oscar Valdez. He won the fight, but by a hair.
Valdez won the fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could have been a draw, or could have been a draw by 1 point, 115, 113, or a draw. But he took his foot off the gas. He was playing around. I don't know if they took a point off. But a lot of people feel like he was Robinson won. A lot of people feel like I would have never knocked if he won, because I feel like Oscar Valdez was getting outboxed. But
right. So so you got a unification bout with Oscar Valdez. Looks like the edge. We're gonna edge that towards Shakur based off what we know. We're gonna edge it, right? We don't know if it'll be a domination or not.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be I don't know if it's gonna be a domination.
You think that fight's gonna actually happen?
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna happen.
Okay, so when that fight happens, let's just say Shakur wins. Where are we gonna go from there? He got to move up.
130. He moved to 135.
You got to move to 135.
I think that fight is gonna happen if Top Rank can make Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor, Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko, Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. If he makes these type of fights, I do believe that this fight could come to fruition, and it's an in-house fight. So I do believe that this fight will come to fruition. The Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson. I think they're gonna make that fight next.
Yeah, guys like Shakur Stevenson, man. I see some guy in here. He keeps saying Shakur versus Boots. You know what I'm saying? But the funny thing, we know that that's not an actual fight that's gonna happen at any point right now, right? Shakur Stevenson and Boots are two different weight classes.
Way different. This is 130, 147.
But what's good is they're very similar and they're friends with each other. They hang out with each other. They train with each other. And they have similarities. Boots is the same way. After Boots goes ahead and he does all his thing, he'll spar everybody in the gym despite the weight class. He'll coach guys. He holds mitts for guys. They're in the gym on Monday after they fought on Saturday. So it's just a passion for the game. It's like somebody who really loves basketball, who's like on the court all the time. And Shakur comes across as one of those guys that is just a gym rat, loves the sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's going to be hard to beat a guy like that.
Yeah, I got that Boots and Shakur.
But they remind me of each other. I'm talking about as far as like how they carry themselves in the sport. They like to train. They like to help people in the sport. Like you said, he coaches guys and stuff like that. Like that's similar stuff that Boots is currently doing.
I think Boots, with the eye test, right? I think he got more intangibles. He could switch from orthodox southpaw. Got power in both hands. Tall, big. I think Boots is just a good. I think he's just too special. I think he's just too special.
Right.
Of course, people gonna be like, "Yo, we haven't seen him versus a legit welterweight," But the eye says it all, man. And then he's in the gym every day. He's a student of the game. He got a good teacher in his father and Boozy. Him and Virgil Ortiz, that's pay-per-view to me. Shit.
Yeah, I would love to see that fight. That's a fight that I would love to see. I don't even need those guys to fight the big names before they fight each other. I like to see them match up now. I think that's the fight that gets them to the major big time fight, in my opinion, because they're both at the top of their game. They're both hungry prospects. why not now? You know what I mean? I don't need one of them to fight a journeyman to fight each other. They could fight each other right now.
What you feel about Shakur Stevenson versus Chris Colbert, Little B Hop?
You know, Little B Hop is sharp, man. But I just think that Shakur Stevenson is. It's just that elite class. I just, not to take nothing away from Chris Colbert. I mean, he's obviously people in New York are really high about him, and I've seen him fight a couple times in the Barclays, and he's good. But I just right now, man, I just think Shakur Stevenson is on a different level, man. I just think that this kid with the amateur pedigree and his athletic ability and boxing IQ, man, is just and his discipline in the ring. He's very disciplined. Like he's willing to stick to the script. He's gonna take you notice tonight he took a few chances early and then he went right back to staying disciplined. And that's a skill. Staying disciplined for the whole fight is a skill. That's something that guys don't have. Most guys lose their discipline, they lose their focus, and you have to refocus them. You have to rediscipline them in the corner. And Shakur doesn't show signs of having those weaknesses. Those are actually his strengths. He's very focused and very disciplined, at least in the ring,
So what you want to see looking at this performance, of course, you never want to feel like you're satisfied. And you as a trainer, what do you see? What should he get better in? From
Shakur?
What you see? Yeah.
Shakur does everything exceptionally well at what he does. So it's kind of hard at this point to pinpoint too many things. I like to see him work the body a little bit more. I like to see him incorporate a little bit more upper body movement. I feel like when you pressure him, and he showed this in the last fight, he goes back in a straight line. And he goes back on that straight line. Every once in a while, he'll get clipped. He likes to keep that lead hand low from the southpaw position. He'll get caught with the straight. I would like to see Shakur incorporate a little bit more rolling of the waist, a little more tilting of the waist, because he seems to always want to stand tall and retreat with his feet. And that's good and all because it's been working for him. But when he starts to really go against somebody who really knows how to close that gap, standing tall like this with your lead hand low, you can get caught with something. You know what I'm saying? So if he learns how to use that waist a little bit more, and like I said, when he lets his hands go, dig a little bit more to the body. I think everything he's shooting right now, it seems like he'll throw a jab to the body here and there, but I like to see him start ripping more body work, sitting down on his body shots a little bit more. So, but other than that, though, he seems really solid in every other area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this was the best I've seen him. And like I said earlier, the Brights was light and he showed up. Good stoppage. Because to be honest, I didn't predict no stoppages for any of these guys. I did not predict a stoppage. I predicted I was rooting for Heron, but I said that Shakur Stevenson is going to come up with the win, a decision. But this stoppage for me, it was surprising.
No, yeah. The stoppage was good. Big shout out to my guy Tony Jeffries, man. A big help over the years, man. I've had a lot of conversations with Tony Jeffries. Has a very successful YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check out Tony Jeffries, man. Good friend. Really good guy. Was an excellent fighter, Olympian. Big shout out to Tony Jeffries, man. But yeah, man. I thought the stoppage was good because Herring wasn't showing any like he didn't look like he was doing anything in the fight that was gonna turn the fight around. Now, granted, it was quote unquote a little early because I didn't think that there was any signs of him looking like he was going to go down at that particular moment. But I'm glad that it got stopped because what's the point? Like, you've lost every single round. You're not hurting Shakur. You're not landing anything of any significance. You're just taking punishment.
I think that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? I think that if he would have bagged at least like 3 rounds, but he was losing every round. And then the ref was like, I mean, I was all right with the stoppage. I didn't even think twice about it. Like, I just ain't seen nothing from Jermell hearing that he was going. I even stopped because when I watch it, I count the punch count. I said, man, that's it. This guy got him. I ain't even gonna count the punch count no more. So,
right. So, what's next, man? What else we got coming up? We obviously know that Shakur Stevenson is the man, right? We already know that. We got Devin Haney and JoJo Diaz.
Boxing got momentum, coach. I have been praying for boxing to have its momentum, coach.
We got
Next week
JoJo.
we got Jerome James, we got Boots, we got Michelle Rivera on the same card. Follow up, we got Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. Canelo Alvarez, 4 division world champion, the pound for pound king.
Right.
Cash cow. Follow it up with Gabe Rosado, Jaime Munguia, David Benavidez fighting in Showtime on the same day. Follow it up with Sean Porter, Bud Crawford on the 20th. Follow it up with Teofimo Lopez, George Cambosa, Stephen Fulton versus Brandon Figueroa and his sister. I hope she comes into the weigh-in so we can see the cast. And then follow it up, coach. Follow it up, coach. We got Javante Davis and Rowley. And follow it up, coach. We got Devin Haney. We got Devin Haney and JoJo.
You guys subscribe to Punch Drunk Boxing. Make sure if you guys want this energy, man. I mean, he don't even drink coffee. That's the crazy thing. Like, he told me he drinks no coffee. He's straight up. This is natural energy right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm drinking coffee just to stay up right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no coffee, no coffee.
I don't know how you do it. But listen, man, I want to talk about that Devin Haney fight with JoJo Diaz. Obviously, you know JoJo. We're not too happy with you over here in the farmer camp. You know what I'm saying? But you're fighting Devin Haney, so we're gonna go ahead and move on and talk about that. What's your thoughts on that fight?
It's an interesting fight. I think is the toughest task for Devin Haney. I mean, people forget that JoJo Diaz is an Olympian as well. You know, I think he knows how to get into the body real well. He knows how to gut it out. He can make this into a fight. He makes a boxing matchup. If he's not doing well in the boxing, he'll make it to a fight. So he knows how to adjust, in my opinion. Devin Haney, you could say he has something like a Shakur Stevenson. He know how to control range. He probably got the best jab in the lightweight division. Great defense, great movement, great athleticism. Power is, it's not one of his thing, but I think JoJo Diaz could adjust. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think Devin Haney will win in this fight, but it's going to be a tough one.
What makes you say Devin Haney is going to beat JoJo Diaz?
I think he'll go to a decision. I just think that he knows how to use his legs better. I don't think he's going to throw enough shots to be countered. Like I like to see the Gary Russell Jr. fight with JoJo Diaz. He threw a lot of shots, and then the championship round, JoJo Diaz tried to rally. So that's different. That's different to me. Then with the Tevin Farmer, JoJo Diaz, he made it into a fight. And Tevin Farmer is known for great defense. So with Devin Haney, I think that he will try to fight a little bit like he did with Gamboa, in my opinion. JoJo Diaz will try to get in the inside. I think skill for skill. Maybe I don't got Devin Haney for a lot. It's a 50-50 fight to me, in my opinion. I don't got him a lot, but I think if he does what he has, his height, his range, control range, have the athleticism, get out of harm's way. He took that punch like a G with Linares, so he know how to respond like a veteran fighter. And I got a little bit. I got Devin Haney just a little bit on this fight.
This is the thing. The thing that's interesting about this fight is it just came out of nowhere, right? And we were expecting JoJo Diaz to fight
Ryan Garcia,
obviously. And, he was already preparing for a tall, orthodox fighter who's, pretty good on the outside and knows how to utilize range and got a good punch and has fast hands. He was already preparing for that. Now he's fighting a Devin Haney who's similar in build. As far as height goes, reach goes, and stuff like that. Similarities there. Good boxer from the outside. Similarities there. Not as big as a puncher, or at least how it doesn't seem like he is. But he's been already training for something like this. Now Devin Haney just kind of hopped into this thing, like hopped right into the fire. Like, yo, I'll take that. And it's just a weird situation to me. Like I didn't expect it when I heard that fight get announced. I was like, really? Like, he gonna play JoJo?
No, well, it was supposed to be Devin Haney and JoJo in the beginning because JoJo beat Javier Fortuna to become interim and mandatory to Devin Haney, but he didn't activate his mandatory status. So they picked, in-house fight, Golden Boy Promotions. They picked the Ryan Garcia fight. And then that didn't fall through because Ryan Garcia broke his hand or something like that, had surgery in his hand, and that's when it landed back on that day on the Devin Haney table. But
That's why I got you here. You see, I ain't know that. See, I don't be paying attention to everything. See, that's why I'm talking to Punch.
hey, my brother. But it's gonna be tough. I could see JoJo Diaz also being Devin Haney, but I got Devin Haney one by hair.
I just think there's something about Devin Haney that will prevail in this fight. I think JoJo Diaz is very good. Obviously, I got an opportunity to see him firsthand when he fought Tevin Farmer. And also been watching his career since he fought Gary Russell. And he is a good fighter, but I do believe that Devin Haney just has that one pep in his step, that's going to get him to prevail in this fight. I think he's just that much faster, that much, has that much better footwork, is going to be disciplined enough to stay where he needs to be. My only question is what's going to happen if JoJo closes the gap? What's going to happen when he lands? We did see Devin get a little shaken up in his last fight. Who did he fight in his last fight again?
Jorge Linares.
He got a little shaken up late in the fight, right?
Yeah, 10th round.
Yeah, so my thing is what happens if he gets shaken up early against a guy like JoJo, round 4, 5, 6?
I think he will. I think he'll probably do get dropped if it gets too ugly. He would get stopped. Because one thing about Devin Haney is almost the same thing that you were saying about Shakur Stevenson. You want to see body work. Devin Haney still don't fight. He still don't fight off the clinch, and this is why the fight versus Santiago and Gamboa. Once you clinch Devin Haney doesn't fight off the clinch. He'll just let himself be clinched, and I think that's where if Diaz gets inside, he's not going to be able to deal with him. He's going to try to clinch him, but he's not going to fight off the clinch. So I think if JoJo gets on the inside, Devin Haney's going to have trouble, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting.
Would he let him on the inside? That's the question. I think, I don't
think he's going to let him on the inside. JoJo's going to have to earn his way on the inside against Devin Haney. Devin Haney is right there with the Shakur Stevensons. If I had to give an edge right now, I'm going to put Shakur Stevenson here and guys like Devin Haney like right there. Guys like JoJo Diaz are like right there, in my opinion. But this can change at any time. It could change at any time. I think that it just depends who wants it more that night. But if Devin Haney wants it as bad as he should, considering the opportunities ahead of him, I think that he wins against JoJo Diaz in a very competitive fight. Even if he wins big on the cards, it'll be competitive throughout the whole way. You know how you could be losing every round, but be competitive in every round? It could be one of those situations. You know what I'm saying?
I think, but we spoke about this before. One thing, I don't trust the corner. It's not about not trusting the dad in the corner. I don't trust that you go into a training camp trained by somebody and then come fight night and it's not the same voice that you're hearing in preparing for that fight. Last fight was supposed to be Ben Davison. The fight before that was supposed to be Mickey Bay. The fights before that was Floyd Mayweather Sr. He had the fight with his father in the corner. He bounced after the first round. Mickey Bay thought he was going to be the head trainer. Ben Davison thought he was going to be the head trainer. And then if you hear what Bill was telling his son, he wanted him to fight, And Devin Haney did something different. He was pressing the fight. He was trying to knock out Linares, especially in the 6th round. He was throwing a lot. But once he was throwing a lot, that's when he started getting in trouble with Linares, when he was connecting on the left hooks and things of that nature. If you do that with Diaz, I think that Diaz has a better inside game than Jorge Linares. And I think that he's gonna if Linares is gonna hurt him like that, he's gonna hurt him. And I think that Devin Haney's using the shoulder roll too much when he don't need to use the shoulder roll, in my opinion. That's how he got caught.
I'm not too sure. I haven't watched Devin Haney that close to really say that he's using the shoulder roll that much, overusing it. But he's a good boxer. He's a very solid boxer. And as far as the training situation goes, I have seen that there's been a lot of different people coming in and out of the camps, and I'm a little confused on what's going on over on that side. But at the end of the day, Devin Haney is well schooled. He definitely shows of a kid who's been well schooled. He has fantastic footwork, good jab, good combinations. Um, good defense too. I mean, he did get clipped in his last fight, but we've seen Floyd Mayweather get clipped, right? Like for the most part, his defense is pretty good. I just haven't seen him really tested to the level that I think JoJo's going to bring. JoJo's going to bring a test. I predict him passing the test, but it is a test nevertheless. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's going to be easy. This fight is going to be easier for JoJo than the Gary Russell fight. So that's why I see this fight really, really close. Really, really close. I think JoJo should just couldn't keep up with the pace of Gary Russell. But I think he could keep up with the pace of Devin Haney because Devin Haney don't throw too much combination. He throws single shots. See, even Tevin Farmer throws combinations. Devin Haney just throws single 1-2 combinations, and I think that he's gonna feel comfortable. I do think so.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting to say the least. What else we got coming up?
Man, you ain't hit the hype, son.
I need to know. I need to know.
Well, you know Canelo and Plant.
That's right, Canelo and Plant.
What you feel about Canelo and Plant?
Going?
I might go.
I'm gonna go too. I had a phone call today to convince me to go. So don't be
surprised. Coach Anthony punch rock boxing in the strip.
Coach Anthony hat, not the Canelo Alvarez hat. The Coach Anthony hat. You know what I'm saying? Let's get into it. But my boy, I'm real close with a few people in Caleb Plant's team. So big shout out to them guys. Big shout out to the Caleb Plant team. I think that Caleb Plant is a very good boxer. And I think that he will present some issues in this fight. I'm not sure if he's going to win the fight, of course, but I do think that he presents some issues. He has a good jab, good lateral movement, good defense, above average defense. He does show craftiness. He's fought at 168 pounds. This is at 168, right?
Mm-hmm.
His whole career. He's hungry. He knows he's the underdog. That kind of helps when you come into the ring and you don't have nothing to lose. So he's going to be an interesting competitor in this fight. I think a lot of people are counting him out completely, and with good reason, right? You got Canelo on the other side of the ring, but we still can't ignore the fact that Caleb Plant has all the attributes of a guy that could frustrate Canelo. Canelo doesn't like a guy who moves a lot. He doesn't like a guy who has a good jab. He doesn't like those type of guys. He has a tendency of waiting around, looking to counter off those big shots, and sometimes he falls behind. So if he falls behind too many rounds, it'll be interesting to see how that fight plays out.
I got Canelo Alvarez winning. I do think that Caleb Plant could present. I think he could steal some rounds. You know, if Kovalev stole some rounds and he was working the jab, he had a good stiff jab going on, and you could say that he was winning in the rounds. But I just think that Canelo Alvarez has faced every skill set, every skill set from every elite fighter around the world, meaning that he's faced the Russian style in Kovalev. He's faced the American slick style in Jacobs. He's faced the slick style from the UK from Saunders. He's faced Lara, the Cuban style. He's faced Mayweather. He's faced even the Mexican style, and damn it, and Julio Cesar Chavez. He's fought the Middle Eastern style from Amir Khan. Damn it, he's fought every damn style. But I just think that Canelo Alvarez right now is hitting at all cylinders. I think that Canelo Alvarez is in his peak of his prime. His intellect and physical ability is coexisting at the highest level. And he got experience, And I think what Caleb Plant is, he doesn't have the experience. He don't look too impressive either in it versus Truax. He don't look impressive. So when you see this type of fights and be like, man, he's going to compete versus Canelo with Gym Rat too. He stays in shape. I think that Caleb Plant is going to be bigger than he's ever been because, of course, he's an IBF champion, and this is a unification bout, so he don't have that IBF 10 pounds restriction limit, rehydration clause. So you could see him come, 180 something, in this fight. Very comfortable. He got the height, he got the range, he got the footwork. But people always forget also that Canelo Alvarez does got footwork. He showed it versus Triple G the first fight, But a lot of people didn't like that fight because people didn't see, wow, Canelo Alvarez can move. But he showed that he added more wrinkles to his game. I just think that Canelo Alvarez is going to be too much for Caleb Plant, and he's going to close the gap real smart. He don't waste punches. He don't waste movement. I think Canelo Alvarez is just the man right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's all. Can't be mad at anybody who says that, right? I mean, the truth is what you just said. He has fought everybody, and Caleb Plant hasn't fought many big names, and that's the big difference. Is the experience. But at the end of the day, it's still a fight, and Caleb Plant could box. At the end of the day, he could box, and we've seen Canelo have trouble with the Laras of the world, and even Jacobs presented issues. I mean, I thought that Canelo won, but he presented issues, and he's had issues with Austin Trout, and he had issues with tall guys. Kovalev, he did run behind on points in that fight. I never felt that he was going to lose that fight, though, even though it just looked like he was going to eventually do what he was trying to do. But he did run behind on points in those fights. So these fights with a guy who uses a good jab, guys who are taller, guys who don't stand in front of him too long, he has issues with those kind of fighters. Now, I'm not saying he can't beat them, but he does have some issues. So if anybody could do those things, it's Plant. So I just think that Plant shouldn't be completely counted out. Like, oh, he has no chance in hell. I mean, yes, he has a chance. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he has no chance.
No, yeah, he got a chance. I'm just saying, but what's the level of chances that he got? What's the percentage of the chances that he got?
It's hard to tell because he hasn't fought anybody that can really showcase that. That's the problem. And sometimes you need that person, you know, to come out and fight. Unfortunately, they just kind of Plant went from fighting this level to this level overnight. You know, I would have liked to see him step up that ladder a little bit better. Canelo obviously has been groomed at this point.
And also, Canelo Alvarez, this is his fourth fight in the span of 10 months. So he's more seasoned than any other fighter right now. He's in his prime. So, and also people don't even talk about he probably got the best chin in boxing. And and his defense is also, you know, I think is he's underrated when it comes to defense. He got great upper body movement. He knows how to counter. He knows how to slip them punches. He stay in the pocket. I just think right now Canelo Alvarez is at the peak. When we talk about great fighters, this just right now he's just the greatest fighter of this era right now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. I don't know. It's just with Canelo, there's certain things we have to keep in mind when we say the greatest of this era. I guess he's the greatest of this era.
I'm not talking about the Manny Pacquiao Floyd era. I'm talking about this new.
Oh yeah, these new guys for sure. I mean, he has a good resume, but a lot of it you got to think, man. Like Amir Khan, welterweight, arguable decision against Lara. Close fight with Trout, close fight with Jacobs, arguable wins against Gennady Golovkin and the draw, arguable. Before that, he was fighting Kerman Cintron, who was a small guy. Got tested on PEDs. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's reasons why people are kind of like, meh.
I mean,
Canelo kind of like, as much as I love his skill set and much as I love the things he does, because I personally am a fan of his boxing style, I don't feel the same way I once did about Canelo. It's kind of like something about Canelo kind of rubs me the wrong way right now. It's just like,
maybe his opponents don't put. Maybe his opponents.
You know, Kovalev way over the hill.
But he was a champion.
He was a champion.
I think you know what it is. You know, in boxing,
don't get me wrong. That's by no means saying Canelo can't fight his ass off. I personally thought Canelo beat Triple G in fights that they thought that he lost.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm not gonna sit here and try to discredit this man. I'm just going off. When we say the best of this era, it's like he is, but at the same time, if you pay close attention, it's kind of like very strategically the best of this era, if that makes any sense. It was just like a very good move. The way they moved him was fucking fantastic, and he had some skills. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, how many elite opponents that
has
he got
and
left.
now with the whole PED thing, it rubs you the wrong way. It makes you say to yourself, damn, now everything is questionable. And right now, you got everybody in the comments saying, is he on that, Canelo meat pause or whatever? And it's like, that's the reputation he has right now.
No, yeah, I can understand when he tested for the computer stuff, but are we going to, as boxing fans, are we going to watch him and just talk about the PDs and am I going to pay for a Canelo ticket?
We have to take it under consideration because it's like,
no, but for how long are we going to take into consideration?
Well, I mean, until it's proven without a reasonable doubt that he's not on it, because it's like you get caught on it and then it kind of gets brushed under the rug. And
he got suspended.
Then we're supposed to be okay with it because we have no other choice. It's kind of like somebody doing you dirty and then you got to turn the other cheek because there's all the options you have. Like, it just makes you feel the wrong way about things.
How about if they're doing you dirty? How about if you're doing you dirty and then they just keep apologizing and showing you that they're not doing you dirty anymore, but you always going, it's like having a chick. Well, or let's say you're in a relationship and you cheat on your chick.
What do you think with this comment from Neil?
Didn't one of his teammates got caught with PEDs recently? The Oscar Valdez.
So what's your thought? Like, let's be real. Let's eliminate the fan talk, right? Because we're both fans. I'm a fan of Canelo. You're a fan of Canelo, whatever. What do you feel is going on if you had to talk unbiasedly on what's going on with all this shit going on coming out of that camp? And from what your eyes, what does the intuition tell you? What does your street smarts tell you? What does it?
All right, okay. My street smarts tell me. My street smarts tell me, right? If I want to be on some picky like that, I'll be like.
If we was in your hood right now, where you from again? You from Harlem, right?
Yeah.
If we was in Harlem right now, kicking it on the block, talking about something that's going on, like, what would you tell me going on? Would you be like, nah, they get over there, or would you say, yo, Aunt, you need to be real, like, careful with them cats over there?
See, I'll be like this, to be honest. All right, we Harlem right now, right?
Yeah,
I'll be like, hey, yo, they probably doing something dirty in that fucking gym. Yet, I will also say, whoever's in Snack is also dirty. Think about it. Snack, Victor Conte, he stated that he could pass any test, that he could make sure his fighters pass any test. So Victor Conte is the PED king. He's the PED Pablo Escobar. So if I think hood, then they all cheating. Kalen Plant, David Benavidez, Shakur, anybody who's with Snack, boo, all right, you suspect.
But Snack has already been busted.
But that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so that's like you playing the block and the feds run down on you, and now you got all surveillance on you. You're not going to be moving the way you used to move. Now you're like, you know what? I don't want to go to prison. I'm just going to go ahead and move straight and narrow. It's hard for me to believe that Snack would be still doing illegal activities or whatever, considering the fact that he's hot as a tamale and he has a company that is on performance enhancing, and he would even risk doing it in any other way.
But put it this way, you know that Victor Conte, he's banned from all the sports. He's banned from all these sports. The only sport that let him walk in is boxing. So if you ban from every sport, wouldn't you find it kind of like, yo, what is he doing in this sport though? He's banned from cycling. He's banned from baseball. He's banned from basketball. He cannot work in all of the sport. Why boxing?
Well, he's banned, but that doesn't mean that he wouldn't go over there and do the right thing now.
Hey, we talk about Harlem. We talk about the sheep.
I'm saying we in Harlem right now, and I know somebody down the street who got knocked for 10 kilos. I don't know how this became a damn drug conversation. But, I highly doubt that he's going to come back into the game, open up a business, and start moving keys out that business when he knows that the feds are still watching. Like, I know that Victor Conte, he knows, like, I'm hot. I better move correctly. Now, what I do think is he's so educated in it that he's figured out ways to maybe push the boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, if we take this chemical and this chemical, we can create something similar to a PED, but it's not a PED. I think maybe he's willing to do that, but I don't think he's gonna break any rules or anything at this point in his career. I think that he's got too many eyes watching him. He's already messed up. I don't think
But is it suspect? Yo, we know people in the hood that got busted come right back out and do the same shit. And they be like, yo, I ain't going to do that.
He's a fool. If he does that, he's a damn fool.
Hey, we know a lot of fools.
Yeah, and if the fighters know it, they're fools too. Because for one, it's horrible when you hear about these cheaters cheating in the game in a sport where you can kill somebody. Another thing is, it's horrible when you're willing to risk your name and career, for something like that. Like, it's an old saying that goes, protect your reputation with your life. It's worth more than money. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why would you want to ruin your reputation as a fighter doing something illegal? Like, like a guy like Canelo, I don't know what they're doing over there, but if he was willing to risk it, it's because somebody in his team was like, we can protect this. We can sweep this under the rug. Because a guy like Caleb Plant and all these other guys, I don't think they can get away with it quite the same. You know what I'm saying? I just think that they don't bring enough revenue to the sport to get away with that. I don't think they would do that.
No, but it's like the Sweet Science Examiner. Shout out to the Sweet Science Examiner. He said the difference is that Mikey Garcia, David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andre, Devin Haney has not tested positive for PEDs like Canelo and Oscar Valdez. A legitimate statement. But what kills that statement is when Victor Conte said, I can make sure I could pass any test. I'm capable of passing any test. So once you hear that, it's like, how I know that they're not cheating, because those are the fighters. Those are the guys that you sponsor. So how do I know that you really don't really, believe that? Now you believe, and I'm sorry, he believes that. He stated it. So how about these fighters are actually doing something and they test them and they testing negative?
I think what he meant by that was more so that he knows how they can pass the test. He's basically trying to say, I know how that team can pass the test because I know how to pass it the way they're passing it. I don't think he's saying that in a sense that he's doing it. I think that because the products that he's using are over-the-counter products. Like, I've seen the snack stuff. You know what I mean? Tevin Farmer was using some of it. I've seen the stuff. They're using, like, regular, like, stuff that you would get in, like, GNC, but it's his brand. You know what I'm saying? It's like, multivitamins and shit like that. You know what I mean? That's mainly what snack is. And then they take you over to the facility and they do their little exercise program.
What they do in the facility?
No, I didn't. Tevin didn't go over there, but Tevin was doing some of their stuff, like exercise wise. Okay. And it feels funny on that Canelo side. That's all I know. It don't feel.
Oh, yeah. It feels funny on the Canelo. But the question was, what do I feel about all this stuff? So if I would think like that, I'll be like, yeah, there's some fishy stuff going on. I'll be like, there's some fishy. I'll be a bitter negative boxing fan, because I always think that at this point in sports, everybody on something. Either everybody's on something, and the only people that really does get caught is when they get it in the black market. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel in sports.
Yeah,
if I want to be bitter,
I don't think everybody's on something. I think that maybe some of the top people are on something, and some of the lower people are on something. And I think, and some of them get caught. I don't think everybody gets caught, but I definitely don't think everybody's on something, because I've had a chance to work with a few guys, and I know for a fact they weren't taking nothing. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question. You think that Canelo Alvarez is taking something right now?
That's what I'm saying. It's a possibility, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be the guy to make accusations, you know what I mean? Because I would not like somebody to do that to me. Mm-hmm. I'm just going off based off what has been happening as of the last couple of years with that team. And it just feels weird now. Like, that's what I mean. Reputation, guarded with your life. His reputation has gotten tarnished, and that's always going to stick with him unless he can prove it out of reasonable doubt. It's like a guy touches an underage kid, and then he promises never to do it again. And then, now every time he's around the 15-year-old, you're going to be like, well, I got to make sure you're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you already ruined it, dog. Like, this is unfortunate, because he's such a great fighter.
So he's like a sex offender. That's it. He got the tag. It don't matter how many years you got to register as a sex offender.
He got the tag, and it's like it's bad in this sport of boxing. That's a bad tag to have. You know what I mean? Because
no, I feel you because I'm a little iffy about. Like, I like Coach Cunningham. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite trainers. But when right now he's working with Gerald Miller, Big Baby Miller. I don't like it. I'm like, man, nah, I don't want that.
They're like Big Baby Miller. He got the tag. Like, and that's my man. Big shout out to Big Baby Miller. I literally hung out with him for a couple of days. Me and him, Tevin, everybody's a funny, cool, good dude. He got the tag though. So now
he got a massive tag though. He got like tag.
Whenever he fights, people are gonna be like, watch him. And he could be like, yo, that's my word. They're gonna be like, yeah, all right. You feel me? Because it's like you already done did that. You feel me? Like, you can't do that. Hold on. We got somebody's exactly punch drunk. You're not wrong in being suspicious of Victor Conte. However, there's just something to be said about being caught failing the actual PED test as opposed to just suspicion. My man, Sweet Science Examiner with the heat. Big shout out.
No, everybody subscribe to the Sweet Science Examiner. Yeah, that's my guy, man. Very good.
Let's bring him in here for a second, yo. Let's see if he want to pull up in here and chop with us, man.
Yeah, man.
Sweet Science, get in here if you want to pull up. You're more than welcome to come chop it with us.
Yeah, because now I understand exactly what you're saying. The only thing is, am I always gonna look at Canelo Alvarez and be like, oh, he's a cheater? So I'm not anything good he does. Oh, he cheated. And then if he does lose, you see, it's because he was cheating and now he's off it.
Right.
But
let's not get twisted, ladies and gentlemen. Canelo could fight his ass off. I was saying Canelo could fight before he got the big fights. You know what I'm saying? I seen some of the stuff he was doing, and I was like, this kid is superb, man. He's a fantastic fighter. And, I hate to see him, let his reputation ruin what he is. And he is a talented fighter. I hate to see that. You know what I mean?
Do you think that's why he acted the way he acted, because Caleb Plant did dig on that? And we never seen Canelo Alvarez.
Absolutely. All that talk about him talking about his mother, we know that wasn't true. He wasn't feeling him from the Twitter comments that were made a few days prior to them meeting up in front of each other. And when he saw him, he was probably saying to himself, I'm going to check him when I see him. And, listen, man, truth hurts. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear about themselves, you know what I mean? Or even if it's not true, the fact that so many people reacted to it got under his skin. A lot of people was running with that, sharing the tweet, posting it on the gram. So it's like, that Canelo's seen all of that. So yeah, Canelo had the right to feel a little frustrated about it, so I mean, if I was Canelo, I'd probably be a little bit frustrated about it too, you know what I'm saying? Especially that's not the first time he's heard it. He's been hearing this from other people, and so yeah, it's crazy.
Shit. What other fight? So you got Canelo winning, you got Caleb Plant. Or you can't say right now because your boy, you go to November 6th. You can't say it right now, Coach. Oh man, you political corporate Coach Anthony with the corporate answer.
Shout out to Team Plant. Yo, but listen, the truth of the fact of the matter is I like Canelo. I like Caleb Plant. He's a nice person, but I really like his team. I know the people in his team, they're good people. So I'm more so supporting Caleb Plant more so than picking him, if that makes sense.
No, I feel you. But
I'm always neutral in my decisions. I don't pick people because I'm friends with them, and I don't pick people because of that. That was the case. I'd be picking a lot of guys on the B side because I'm friends with a lot of B side guys. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is, he has a hell of a test in front of him with Canelo. Canelo's been there, you know what I mean? So we'll see what happens.
Do you think Canelo Alvarez retires if he beats Caleb Plant?
I think he should be considering looking toward retirement soon, only because what else is left? He's been beating everybody. He's moved properly. Who's he gonna fight? I mean, maybe the Charlo brothers. They would have
David Benavidez, maybe.
maybe Devin Bane, but I'm talking about a fight that makes sense for Canelo, like
a legacy fight, right?
Yeah, like just a fight that makes sense. Like, I mean, Benavidez is good, and he might be the guy who could beat Canelo, but he's not really like somebody who I really see people wanting to see Canelo fight unless you're a diehard. You see what I'm saying? But if you say the Charlos, now that's a name that might interest the more mass audience, if that makes sense. And I just think that's the kind of fights Canelo's looking for. He's looking for the good fights that attract the mass audience more so than the actual good fights. You know what I'm saying?
I just think that where is he gonna move? He's gonna move down to 160. He's not gonna go back to 160. You know
maybe
that.
I have to move him up. Let's see what Sweet Science thinks. Talk to us, baby boy. What's good?
Salute to you, Coach Anthony. Salute to you, Punch Drunk Boxing.
Salute, brother.
So
yeah, man, I love this boxing talk, brothers. Y'all killing it. Yeah, man. So I just wanted to touch on real quick on first of all, another great night for boxing. You guys hit on pretty much all the topics on the great fights we saw tonight. Very competitive fights, great displays of Sweet Science, and as it pertains to what you guys were recently talking about in terms of my comments with Saul Alvarez, Victor Conte, and the snack situation, I think that you can see it from both ways. You know what I mean? It makes sense the way Punch Drunk Boxing was elocuting that when you have a guy like Victor Conte who has been found liable for cheating using synthetic drugs, it's reasonable to have a suspicion of him moving forward in what he does. On the flip side of that, and especially on the comments that he has said, letting it be known that he has the expertise that would allow him to pass some of these tests. With that being said, you also have to look at it from Coach Anthony's perspective when he's talking about these the situation from a street level, right? Some of you guys who are going to be listening to this on the replay and listen to this in the chat come from these inner cities that we do, and we know that once you get popped like that and you try to move into a legitimate business, and you know that eyes are on you, you tend to move a lot more careful than you did prior to getting caught. So it doesn't make sense that he would risk everything that he has done to rebuild himself to go back to cheating. But with that being said, I can see why it makes sense to be suspicious of the brother. You know what I'm saying? The issue that I have is it's not suspicion when it comes to the camp of Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso's team have been busted for failing PED tests. That's not a suspicion. Does that make sense? And then I guess that's where moving forward, like Coach Anthony is saying, not only do you question what happens moving forward, to Punch Drunk's point, how long do we look forward before we give these guys the benefit of the doubt? If they keep passing tests, do we keep holding them accountable for what they did? But the thing is, we have to now look backwards and say, well, how did they even accomplish what they have accomplished? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like it reminds me of the Trinidad situation with the hand wraps, the Margarito situation with the hand. Like now people can go back and question these guys' wins. Like, hold on, but how did you win? And it's and it's unfortunate because you hate to see a guy who you was a fan of, get even questioned in that way. But the facts are the facts. Once you get caught cheating, things change as far as like I really don't feel the same way about Canelo as I once did, and it has nothing to do with his skill set because skillfully, I think he's a fantastic boxer. But legacy-wise, my feelings changed. The same way as far as Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso, fantastic trainer. We were saying trainer of the year. Does that change now? You see what I'm saying?
Now, I'll ask you because you coach, you've been in camps. Do you think that is a problem right now that these fighters are bringing in too many people into camp? Like Eddie Reynoso was trying to say, like, yo, all I do is deal with the camps, and I'm not his nutrition. All I'm doing, I only deal with training, right? But now you got a lot of these guys now that they got another strength and conditioning coach, a nutritionist that doesn't even know the head trainer. You got the second trainer. You just got a lot of people in the camp. And before, it just used to be that one trainer that knew everything, like Senior. He's the nutritionist. He's the head trainer. He's the leader. He's the strength and conditioning coach. Do you think that's becoming a problem? Just too many people in the camp? Too many
Chef in the kitchen.
Yeah, basically.
You know what? I got mixed feelings about that. I don't think it's a problem if it's under control, right? So, like, if I'm gonna be the head trainer and you're gonna bring in a conditioning coach, at the end of the day, I'm the head trainer. So I need to be knowing what's going on with your conditioning at all times. I need to, your conditioning training regimen, so to speak, at all times, because let's just say I got to schedule sparring for the next day, but you got my fighter doing all these leg exercises and stuff like that. Now you're going to be super sore. You're not going to be able to perform in sparring. So I can't allow the strength and conditioning coach to just do whatever he wants to do with my athlete. I have to let the strength and conditioning coach know, listen, you're going to assist us. You're a supplement to the team, but anything that you do, I have to be okay with that at the end of the day. Now, that doesn't mean I degrade him or degrade his knowledge or whatever, but at the end of the day, I have to be aware. So if Eddie Reynoso is going to sit back and be trainer of the year, so to speak, then you have to do more than just teach a guy how to box. You have to be able to run that ship. You have to be able to say, listen, what the hell are you putting in his water right now? What is that? Like, is that protein? Like, let me look at that. Because your job as the head trainer is to overlook everything. You're like the CEO of a company. You don't just let your employees do whatever you want, right? You give them set tasks and then you overlook it. And if they're doing a good job. And it's the same thing. So you can't just allow people to come in and do whatever they want. And if that's what's happening over there, then Eddie Reynoso is losing control of what he has over there. And that can cost them, because if these guys are taking PEDs or whatnot under other coaches' supervision and not his, and he has no idea of what's going on, yes, he might be innocent, but at the end of the day, it's still his fault because he's the head trainer. He's supposed to control that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you.
Absolutely, I agree. Can I touch on that real quick? Also, Coach Anthony and Punch Drunk.
Yep.
Coach is right. If you're the head trainer, the responsibility falls on you to be able to know what is going on with your fighter. At the end of the day, in my opinion, I've been around enough gyms, enough coaches, enough boxers to say that to double down on what Coach Anthony just said. But I'm going to add to that, because the onus will stop with two people. That's the head trainer and ultimately the fighter themselves. Right? The head trainer has to know exactly what's going on at all times with his fighter or her fighter, the nutritionist, the strength and conditioning coach, everything that involves the fighter. But at the end of the day, the onus falls on the fighter, because as Coach Anthony said, the head trainer is the CEO of the company, but the fighter is the owner. The fighter owns their own body. The fighter is responsible for being an honorable competitor and athlete and saying, okay, if you're telling me that I'm taking this and there's nothing wrong with this, let me double check this with my head trainer and let my head trainer do some research. Let me have a second pair of eyes, a second pair of ears. Let me get some input on this, because at the end of the day, I do not want to get that tag of being a cheater on my resume, because once I have that tag, it's like a stain in a white tee. My bad for using all these hood terms, but it's like a stain in a white tee. The tee's no longer good anymore.
Look, I'm gonna tell you. I know, not to cut you off. You're absolutely right.
Go ahead, King.
No, you're absolutely right, and I like the fact that you said that. You're absolutely right. Everything you said was a perfect add-on to what I was saying. Because it's as simple as this. When I used to work with my amateurs, these aren't even professionals, and another person would take I would be like, hey man, can you take them on the heavy bag and work with them? They would have to work on what I wanted them to work with. Like if they took them on the heavy bag, I wouldn't even let them hit the heavy bag without me having an input on how the heavy bag work is going to be done. So imagine taking supplements and all this at the highest level of professional boxing. You have to really take that serious, especially when you know what's going on in the sport today, especially at that level. That's a level I haven't reached as a trainer. And I just know that when I do get to that level, if I decide to go that route, it's going to be much more professional where I can't just say, hey, it's his fault or his fault. Like, you have to know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with both of y'all. I agree. I think we touched base on this one time. I think when a fighter becomes the boss of his camp, I think that's downhill. That's tailing of his career, in my opinion. That's when he's going downhill. When a fighter is, what do you feel about that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It happens all the time. I've had it happen around me. I've seen other trainers deal with it, and I think it happens quite often with most fighters. You get to a certain level, and you start to think that you know what's best for you more so than your team. You forget that you didn't do it by yourself, and you start to make the decisions based off your own mentality because you think that you did everything by yourself. A lot of fighters go through that. Not all, but a very large amount. I've seen it happen time and time again. And unfortunately, that's what happens in this sport, And I tell that to beginners all the time. I'll teach a beginner how to throw jab, cross hook, uppercut, whatever. And then I'll say, one day you're going to wake up and you're going to forget how you learned how to throw these punches. You're going to think that you fucking were born with this skill. And it happens like that. You don't even remember. You know what I'm saying? There's kids right now running around throwing combinations. They don't even remember how they learned it. They just like, man, one day I just woke up, I was ripping combinations. So imagine when these guys get to the world-class level of fighting. It's the same thing. It's just even a bigger animal has grown out of it now. Now they think they didn't even need a coach. They just literally got themselves there. You feel what I'm saying? It's like people forget.
Porter Crawford, what you got, coach?
And
Examiner, which I got.
It's gonna be very hard for Porter to beat Crawford, in my opinion. But I do think that Porter is a very good, very strong competitor. He's gonna make it very interesting. But I just think that Crawford's on that level that we talked about earlier when we were talking about Shakur. I just think he's at that different level. You got the really good guys, and then you got the Shakurs, the Crawfords, the Canelos, the Furies, the Mayweathers. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's like that's that level. I think Crawford belongs on that level, but we're gonna find out because Sean Porter's the real deal. And if Porter did pull some sort of an upset, if it's even an upset, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big facts. I think that in many ways, both of these guys are tailor made for each other in a lot of ways. And the way that Sean Porter fights, I think that Terrence, from what I've seen, he should be able to take advantage of the positioning that Sean Porter sometimes puts himself in. At the same time, I think that there's going to be occasions within these rounds where Sean Porter will be able to take advantage of Terrence Crawford's willingness to exchange, not move around laterally at times, and because of the way that Sean Porter puts pressure on his opponents, and I mean everybody, there's never been a fight that I can remember seeing Sean Porter fight in and compete in where he wasn't an aggressive, move forward, put his head in your chest and make you work type of a fight. And that usually poses a lot of problems for the majority of the boxers he faces. There's nobody that's been in the ring with him that can claim it was an easy night. And we're going to get to see whether or not Terrence Crawford answers the questions that people have about him. When it comes to Sean Porter, there are no questions. We know what he is. We know who he is. We know what he can do. And at this point in his career, Terrence Crawford is at the precipice and the cusp of doing exactly what Coach Anthony said, and that's put his name in the same class of the fighters that Coach Anthony named. And I'm eager to see the fight. I think it's going to be a 50-50 fight.
I'm excited about the fight, man. Yeah, I got it. I got it. I got it. If I, 50-50 is not a bad choice. 60-40, 50-50. I just feel that Porter, like you said, they're tailor made for each other, but I think more so Porter's more tailor made for Crawford. I think that he falls into Crawford's style where Porter, this can be like a really big coming out party for Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? I
Right.
think this is the fight that can really solidify him. Like, okay, we now, like, we already knew, but now we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of like similar like tonight. It kind of reminds me of tonight, except I think Porter's a better fighter than Jermell Herring, no disrespect, but I think it's a similar situation. It's like this is the coming out party for Crawford, even though Crawford's been out. This will let people know, like, yeah, it's time to really take this guy and put him up there with everybody else. You know what I mean?
I think that Porter humbles the welterweight division. And meaning, like, if you thought that Earl Spence or Keith Thurman was, head and shoulders above anybody at one point, and they fought Sean Porter, he humbled that, And when it comes to, I think with Bud Crawford got to be in his A game, man. He's gonna make him go to that well. Sean Porter makes everybody go to that well. You got to dig deep. You got to come out. You're gonna go through adversity. I believe so. And if you could overcome Sean Porter, then for me, it's the Sean Porter test, and it's gonna be a tough fight for Bud Crawford. I do think that Sean Porter has the experience to face the strong southpaw Earl Spence, the guy that moves, that's considered the guy that punches the hardest in Thurman. He has, prepared Manny Pacquiao in camp before, sparred a lot of rounds with Pacquiao. Kell Brook, when he was at his game, he lost, but he's faced a lot of veterans. He's faced a lot of good fighters in their prime. Just another good fighter. He fought Ugas, fought Daniel Garcia. So I think that Porter, is probably more prepared and seeing different type of styles more than Bud Crawford's prepared for Sean Porter. Not meaning that he's not prepared, but meaning the experiences. I've seen a big southpaw. I've felt a more powerful puncher. I could deal with probably a Bud Crawford, So I think they both highly confident in fighting one another. It's going to be a big fight. I do see it a 50-50 fight. I think Bud Crawford got more wrinkles. I think he has timely adjustments. IQ, probably you could say 1, 2 in the whole of boxing. So it's gonna be a tough fight.
Can either one of y'all see it ending in a knockout?
See, for me, even today was surprising, right? Shakur Stevenson stopping Jermell Herring. If he stops Sean Porter, bro, that would be highly surprising to me. If he stops Sean Porter, that would be epic. Put it that way, to say the least.
What you think, Examiner?
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree that on both of you guys' points, and as well as when Coach Anthony, when you said that it kind of reminds you of tonight's fight between Herring and Shakur Stevenson, and I'm looking at it kind of the same way. And it will be a tough fight, but it's hard to say that I can see a knockout. I know there are people are out there just saying it because, in my opinion, I think they're saying that because of what they've seen from Terrence Crawford so far during his run at the welterweight division, where he has knocked out every opponent that he has faced. Well, Sean Porter is not a guy that just is known for being knocked down, let alone knocked out. In order to get a knockdown, you got to earn a knockdown versus Sean Porter. And he's so durable and tenacious that he's hard to knock out. And he's not just some guy that's coming in there being aggressive. It's strategic aggression. You know what I mean? He has a great coach in his father who knows the sweet science, and he knows how to get his son in certain positions that make his opponent uncomfortable and increases the chances of Sean Porter to not only get his offense off, but to make sure that he doesn't leave himself too open too often to be able to get knocked out. So it's kind of hard for me to say that it's going to be a stoppage, but I will say this: if Terrence Bud Crawford is able to stop Sean Porter and he becomes the first person to do that, then all of his detractors need to take a seat in the back and give Terrence Crawford all of the praise and respect that he deserves.
Right, right. Well said, man. And I can see the fight. I can see the fight. It's just a good fight, man. I mean, there's really nothing else left to say, but let these two guys fight. One more fight I want to touch on before, I basically shut it down is let's talk about this Rolly's Tank fight. We didn't talk about this one, and I think it's a very weird fight, not a fight I was expecting to happen. But nevertheless, it's happening. And I think that Rolly's presents some very interesting attributes to this fight. I mean, he's freaking strong as hell. He's very awkward. He doesn't look skillful, but yet he knows how to win. What do you guys think about this kid? And what do you guys think he will do with a guy like Tank, who's obviously, being looked at as one of the top guys in the division?
It's like we said earlier, like you touched base on early, when we're talking about Shakur Stevenson and him fighting, there's certain fighters that are not A, B level fighters, but that presents a tough fight. Awkwardness presents a tough fight, so, and he got power at the same time. So I think that Rolly presents, is going to make it harder for Gervonta Tank Davis. I got Gervonta Tank Davis, though. And the only thing with Gervonta Tank Davis is recently he's just getting touched up too much. He is getting outboxed. He was getting outboxed by Leo Santa Cruz before, he knocked him out. He was getting outboxed by Mario Barrios. The Gamboa fight wasn't impressive. And Gamboa had a toe Achilles. He's just getting touched up too much for my liking, and I know I've been following Gervonta Tank Davis since the amateurs. He got good defense, so it's either that he's slipping on defense, or he just doesn't respect the power of his opponents. That he's willing to get hit, he's willing to take it or give it. Well, and I think he can't do that with Rolly Romero.
Yeah, well, I know, Sweet, you want to give your point. I just want to chime in and say one thing real quick. I think that he gives away rounds against those guys because he's basically walking those guys down. So the names that you mentioned, he just kind of walks you down, catches everything on his arms, and he knows that eventually he's going to catch you. I think with a guy like Rolly's, he's going to have a different approach. I don't see him using that approach because that's more of against a guy who likes to box and move around. And he's kind of like, man, I'm just going to walk you down, catch some shots, and bang, rip you. You know what I'm saying? With a guy like Rolly's, who's very awkward, I do believe he's going to be very sharp, very alert. Hands are going to be up. He's going to be using his feet. He's going to be going in and out because he's not going to be sure where them weird-ass punches are coming from. I'd be very surprised to see him just stand like this the way he has in recent fights. Go ahead, Sweet.
Yeah, man, I agree. Damn. It's crazy because we were just talking about guys being tailor-made for each other, and then here we have another matchup where you have a guy who, in Rolando Romero, who doesn't move his feet well. He can be there to hit, but at the same time, he himself hits so hard with either hand that it's like, damn, you can't play around with this guy. So to you guys' point, if Gervonta Davis goes in there and takes too many risks in terms of quote unquote taking rounds off or taking moments in the rounds off, leaving himself open to get countered, Rolando Romero has the punching power to hurt Gervonta Davis or any fighter in that regard.
Do you think he has punching power, or do you think he's just physically strong? Because I don't know if I really think he has punching power. I just think he's a physically strong kid, man.
Great point, great question. I think that it's a combination of both, because if you look at the way he's built with the shoulders, the upper body strength, you can tell that he's a strong kid. But at the same time, I've seen guys who have come up against him, and they have been having success up until the moment they got cracked by him in certain instances. And I think that's what I'm looking at when I'm talking about punching power. I'm not saying like he has some kind of one punch knockout, you know what I mean, type of Deontay Wilder, Mike Tyson esque, you know, but I think that he has so much pop that he can stop you dead in your tracks and hurt you. And we haven't really seen anybody hurt Gervonta Davis up to this point. And I don't expect that we will. I'd be surprised if we do versus Rolando Romero, because I think that he's too stationary. And I think that when Gervonta Davis wants to be, he can be a lot more mobile. I remember seeing him in the amateurs. People used to send me video of him in the amateurs, and he was a lot more mobile. So he does have the ability to box you, and if he can tap into that, then I think that poses a lot of problems for Romero, because I don't think he's ever seen anything like that, where the guy that he's facing can not only move around, use different angles to outbox him, but also can outpunch him with either hand, just like he can fight with either hand. You know what I mean? And you know, all respect to Bullet Cromwell, Romero's trainer, who was also a former fighter. But you know, as they always say, your coach can't fight for you. You know, you have to be able to implement the game plan and strategy that your coaches bring to you, and you have to put the work in the gym during training camp to be able to prepare yourself for any scenario that happens during the fight. But what I will say is this: like, unquestionably, I'm going with Gervonta Davis, and I'm not sure if it's going to be even close. I don't know. I don't expect it to be a close fight. But I will say this: the advantage that Rolando has, that people are not talking enough about, is he's already starting this fight from a psychological perspective, and that may be his to his detriment or his downfall. We don't know yet, right? But as of right now, it seems like he has gotten underneath the skin of Gervonta Davis, and if he can get Gervonta Davis to get in that ring and not follow the particular game plan that Coach Calvin Ford has for him, not do the things that he knows that he's supposed to do in the ring to set up his punches. As being the shorter fighter in most of his fights, he has to take away his opponent's jab. He has to slip a lot of jabs. He has to use different angles in order to work his way in to his punching range. And if he being Romero can get Gervonta off just enough, you know what I mean, make him fight angry instead of intelligent, then he'll, you know, increase his chances of catching Davis with something. But you know, I don't see that happening. And you know, because Davis has a great corner, but he also has an experienced team that's headed by Floyd Mayweather Jr., who's gonna prepare him for all these traps psychologically.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting fight. Real quick, big shout out to George, the angry old man, for the super chat. He wanted to make a quick comment. I think Heron stoppage was unneeded. I've seen much worse. Cuts left alone, Fury versus Wilden, Brown versus Jack, etc. They just stopped it because they think Heron got whooped enough. Yeah, that's exactly why they stopped it, George. I just felt like there was no need for the unnecessary punishment. Didn't look like he was doing anything that was going to help him win the fight. But big shout out to you, and big shout out to Herring, man, for showing a lot of heart, man. You know what I mean? I thought he showed a lot of heart tonight. Another super chat. Big shout out to Kenny Bless. Why Bomac didn't teach Herring movements? I mean, I can't really answer that question. I'm not sure what you mean by movements, but I just think that there's only so much you can teach a fighter who's already a professional fighter, who's seasoned. You have to work with what you got. And I think he showed a lot of heart, and he did the best he could. I mean, you're talking about Shakur Stevenson, arguably one of the better fighters of recent years, you know what I'm saying? But could go down in history as one of the greats. We'll see where his career leads, you know what I mean? So, you know, you can't really be upset about losing to a guy like Shakur Stevenson. But yeah, back to the Romero thing. What's weird about that is I don't know if I've ever seen Tank in a fight where he's not quote unquote the bigger, stronger puncher. Like now he's got to deal with like a wrestler / boxer who's strong. So this is going to be interesting to see if he can get out of his character. And like you said, the sweet science examiner. I don't know what you want me to call you, but
you can call me Tank, brother. You can call me Tank.
Tank.
That's the easiest. Yeah, it's Tank, the sweet science examiner.
All right, so we're gonna be
right.
So I don't know if I like for one, if he is in Tank's head, now Tank wants to knock him out, right? So now you already got him thinking knockout. Then you have a guy who's not gonna box you, quote unquote, like a boxer. It's gonna be just a bunch of ridiculousness. You're gonna be like, what are you doing? Like, this ain't even boxing. Like, what are you doing? So I don't know if that's gonna help Romero or get Romero hurt. I think it helps Romero. I think Romero's gonna do some things that are really gonna frustrate Tank in this fight. I just don't know if he'll be able to succeed with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I got Tank winning, but I think that he's gonna present something to Tank Davis, because Tank Davis just, he keeps himself open and willing to get himself and willing to get hit. But I think Tank Davis is gonna. I feel like he's gonna win, but I hope he takes I hope he takes Rolly serious though. I hope he takes him real serious.
No, he's going to. I'm just real interested for that. Actually, I'm excited about that fight. I don't know why, but it's a fun fight. It's definitely going to.
Are you excited with the fight or the promotion?
Nah, I'm actually excited about the fight because Romero's last fight, I was like, man, I would like to see him matched up against somebody good. I didn't think he would get matched up against Tank, but
I went to his last fight. I was there in San Antonio.
Let's jump right to it. I mean, let's find out what he's, because he might know deep down, man, this is it. You know what I mean? Let me just cash out right now. You know what I mean? Who knows what? Or he might really be thinking he could beat Tank. Them guys work down the Mayweather gym together. Maybe he knows something we don't know.
Yeah, I think he feel like, as a fighter, probably not like a boxer, like, yo, I could beat this guy up. I could, when he's on the clinch, he likes to use them elbows. He likes to swing you around. Sometimes a ref is about to take points away from. He's gonna make it very, very ugly, And right. I think a fight is gonna break loose. That's what I feel. Like, people don't even want to spar with Rolly no more. That's right.
So yo, fellas, man, before I get out of here, make sure you let people know how you can find you. Y'all been great, man. I plan on coming on here for half an hour. I've been on here for an hour and a half. So I want to say thank you to you, Punch, for pulling up. Always love it when you're here. And you too, sweet science examiner. How can they find y'all?
Punch Run Boxing YouTube channel, punchrunboxing.net, the website, and the podcast, the Smelling Salt podcast. Subscribe to the channel, become a member if you want. And thank you, man. Thank you, Coach Anthony, for having me, man. And yo, the sweet science examiner, my brother, man. Keep doing your thing. And thank you, man.
Man, thank you both.
Let them know how they can find you.
Thank you both, man. Punch Drunk for the nice words, man. I appreciate you. I follow your content as well. Coach Anthony, I've been following your content for a minute now. This is the first time that I've been allowed on your panel, and I appreciate that, good brother. Y'all can follow me at the Sweet Science Examiner on YouTube, the Sweet Science Examiner on Instagram and Facebook. And appreciate all the love, everybody out there. Stay safe and be blessed.
Thank you guys so much. And you guys always know you're more than welcome to pull up, man. Chop it up with me anytime. And I need to come make sure I pull up on your channels, man, because you're always pulling up on mine. And Sweet Examiner, I'm going to come check you out. Send me your stuff on DM on Instagram if you follow me on Instagram.
Yeah, I do for sure, brothers.
Peace,
man. Thank you so much, guys, for pulling up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, real dope to have those guys on here, man. That was real dope. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. Guys, make sure you guys go to the website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. CA Power Hour, 75% off courses. We had a great night of boxing. Now go ahead and get educated. Learn some more boxing. 75% off. $100 course is only $25. You can't beat it. Okay. Get the cheap one first. If you like it, then go ahead and get more. You know what I'm saying? 75% off. You can't lose. Basically giving you Black Friday deals early. And we had a great night of boxing. Let's keep boxing alive. So let's keep liking, subscribing, sharing the channel. Let's keep going. And I'll be doing some Q&As. I'm going to be releasing the Build You From the Ground Up course. That'll be coming out next week. It looks like everything's looking good. Next week, Build You From the Ground Up, teaching you the jab, the cross, the hooks, the uppercuts, step by step, the same way I teach any beginner. So this is a very beginner-friendly course. If you don't know how to box, you want to learn how to box right at home easily, step by step with a system, this is going to be the course for you. Super excited about releasing it. I'll be dropping some new YouTube videos this week, and we'll be doing some Q&As. So thank you guys for being supportive, for liking. Thank you, Meet Joe Chill, for the super chat. Thanks for the platform, coach. Thank you very much. My man, Big Brother Life said, yo, you got a southpaw course? Yes, I do. How to box the opposite stances, southpaw versus orthodox. I'm sure that's what you mean when you ask about how to box a southpaw. Is mainly you're asking how to box the opposite stance. All my courses are mirrored in southpaw. So anything you buy is basically going to be like 2 courses in one, the orthodox version and the southpaw version. But how to box the opposite stance is more so what you're talking about. Like, you know, we talk about if a orthodox guy throws a jab, how to slip over, throw the cross, you know what I mean? When you rip the body, what's your escape routes against the opposite stance, and so on and so forth. And it's featuring Fast Eddie Chambers, one of my best friends and a fantastic boxer who could box both stances. So, you know what I mean? Definitely check out that particular course if you're looking for a course. Hold on, guys. I'm looking for something real quick. This is the one right here. Everybody wants to know how to box a southpaw. Hold on. Everybody wants to know how to box a southpaw. Everybody who's a southpaw wants to learn how to box the opposite stance. We're going to get into it. We're going to give away all the secrets. We're going to teach you so many great things, man. And luckily, we got a guy right here who can box both stands, orthodox and southpaw, and Fast Eddie Chambers. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to learn a lot. You guys made a very wise decision, so let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. So if you're interested in the southpaw course, brother, that is the one. So check that out. You know what I mean? And that's it, man. So thank you guys all for the love and support. And I will be pulling up a lot this week, man. You know what I mean? I got the lights, I got the cameras, everything. So, you know, I'm excited. So be on the lookout. Thank you. Have a good night.